Welcome, everyone. I'm Ben Smith, and I'm the I run the whole Boston Sports Nation whole entire channel on YouTube and not YouTube, but YouTube, TikTok, etc. First up, I'm gonna just be telling you the history about the New England Patriots. But before then, I just want to make sure you guys are well aware. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel and follow my TikTok. Same thing, Ben Boston Sports Nation. Um, and yeah, let's go to today. Right here, we're going to talk about the evolution by the New England Patriots by myself. This took a few months. I was planning on recording it on here, but here we go. This is the evolution of the New England Patriots. First up, how it all started. So, in 1959, the Patriots franchise was bought by the Sullivan brothers. Back then, as you guys know, if you weren't alive before the 80s and stuff, you would know it before Foxborough Stadium was named. It was Sullivan Stadium to honor the Sullivan brothers. The first season, they weren't called the New England Patriots. They were the Boston Patriots. I believe they had an office up on Lansdowne Street or something, where the Ace Ticket is now. That's where the Patriots office was. They were the last team to join the AFL in 1960, and they were the first team. Not first team. Their first season was in 1960. In the 1960s, their stadiums, for example, they played for 3 years at Nickerson Field in Boston University, excuse me. Then in 1963 to 1968, they played at the popular baseball park where the Red Sox play, Fenway Park. They sometimes the field conditions were so bad that they had to move their games to the Yale Bowl. They had to move it to a stadium up in Mobile, Alabama. So the playing conditions at Fenway Park were delayed for some games. Alumni Stadium is Boston College's stadium, which is now still standing today, and they only played 1 year there. Some famous players throughout the 60s, and their record was 63, 68, and 9 ties. Some famous players include Jim Nance, Darrell Johnson, Ron Hall, etc. This is in the 1970s. Harvard Stadium, they played first off before moving to Foxborough. 1971, at the time present, they played at Schaefer Stadium. Schaefer Stadium was the first name of Foxborough Stadium and was built on the grounds of which is now Schaefer Stadium. If you don't know, now is Patriot Place. 1971, they changed their name to the New England Patriots as they moved to Foxborough, and has the same name to this day. Some famous players on that team include Stanley Morgan, Steve Grogan, Tom Neville, and John Hanna, etc. Their record back then was 66 and 78, which was a pretty bad record for them. As you can see, this is Stanley Morgan, one of the best Patriots wide receivers of all time. Schaefer Stadium. 1980s came naming rights. After the 1982 season, they switched from the Schaefer from Schaefer Stadium to Sullivan Stadium and was named after the Sullivan family who created the franchise. And it was correct. The whole stadium was owned by the team was first owned by the Sullivan brothers. Now became when it became Sullivan Stadium. When it first became Schaefer Stadium, I'm pretty sure that the Sullivan family bought the naming rights from Schaefer. So in 1986, they lost the first. They made it to the first Super Bowl appearance in '86. They lost to the Bears, 46-10. Their record in the '80s was a better record than it was the past 2 decades, 78 and 74. Their famous players in this decade include Irving Fryer, Stanley Morgan, and Ronnie Lippett, etc. 1990s was pretty much first up. We was starting up into the 90s. The Patriots did not have a great record from the early 90s until Bill Belichick. When Belichick came, this entire organization changed. 1993, Sullivan Stadium was changed until Foxborough Stadium, and Foxborough Stadium from 1994 until to the present day at the time. The history of the in the 90s, they went 68 and 92 and had the 2 worst sessions, which should have been seasons, in 1990 and 1992. The greatest owner in Patriots history, Robert Kraft, bought the franchise in 1994, and they could have moved to St. Louis, but thank God this franchise. There's one man named Robert Kraft that saved that franchise. They went to their second Super Bowl in 1996, and they lost to the Green Bay Packers. 35-21. Which after that day, they fired Bill Parcells. 2000, they Foxborough Stadium in 2002 quit the jobs because they didn't have any their bathroom and sewers weren't working, so they closed down Foxborough Stadium until 2002, and then they broke into the new grounds, Gillette Stadium, also known as the Razor. That decade, they had one of the best decades that in Patriots history at the time. They went 112 and 48 in the 2000s, and they drafted the GOAT, Tom Brady, in 2000. 2002, the Patriots won Super Bowl 36 against the Rams, 20-17. They won Super Bowl 38 against the Panthers, 32-29, and won Super Bowl 39 against the Eagles, 24-21. And that's when the Patriots dynasty started. Also, in 2008, the Patriots lost Super Bowl 42 against the Giants, 17-14. For 10 years, it was just crickets in New England. They lost again to the New York Giants again, 21-17. But our revenge tour came. 2015, the Patriots won Super Bowl 49 against the Seattle Seahawks, 28-24, which is now controversial now because which Marshawn Lynch should have ran the ball, and what's his name? Russell Wilson shouldn't have thrown it. They won Super. They came back and beat the Falcons in Super Bowl 51. The final score was 34-28 in the first overtime in this game in the Super Bowl. And then 2 years later in Super Bowl 53, they beat the Rams 13-3. Now this adds up 6 titles for the franchise and ties it with Pittsburgh. 2000, which is current day for the New England franchise, Patriots franchise. Right now, the Patriots, in March 17, 2020, Tom Brady was released by the Patriots and signed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And they have been 16-16 without Tom Brady and this decade in general. Mac Jones is our current quarterback and hoping to continue the dynasty in New England. Edelman has retired, sadly. A majority of the 2014 roster is gone, including only McCourty and Butler is still in New England. So that's it, folks. That is the recording for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and then we'll see you all soon. Bye, guys.